President Obama and the White House have responded to the New York Times officially calling for the end of marijuana prohibition, and it is a pathetic rebuttal. They try and do the stereotypical, generic milquetoast presidential fatherly response to find the centrism or the centrist position between legalizing and throwing everybody in jail. So they take a position that makes perfect sense and is smart, and a position that's the dumbest fucking thing you've ever heard, and they say, let's compromise between smart and dumb. Let's be half dumb. Classic Obama. They say, quote, the New York Times editorial team failed to mention a cascade of public health problems associated with the increased availability of marijuana. While law enforcement will always play an important role in combating violent crime associated with the drug trade, the Obama administration approaches substance use as a public health issue, not merely a criminal justice problem. So let's pause there. Again, notice, this is nothing but a pure hedge. They're saying we view it as a criminal justice problem, but not merely a criminal justice problem. There's also a health aspect to it. But oh man, is the New York Times silly, and oh man, are they overlooking some real problems with marijuana. They continue, quote, any discussion on the issue should be guided by science and evidence. Yes, I would agree with that. Not ideology and wishful thinking. So you're accusing the New York Times of using ideology and doing wishful thinking. No, I believe that would be you. You're the ones that are making a purely political response to this. Okay, you're the ones that are basing this purely off ideology because you're looking for the centrist position between the right and the left to try to please everybody. Of course you're doing it for ideology. They're not doing it for ideology. Well, you think it's easy for the paper of record to come out and say we're in favor of legalizing this drug that's been banned for so long in the U.S.? No, it actually took some guts. Don't get me wrong, man. It's the common sense position, and what is it, 58, 59% of the American people are on the page already? So it's about time, in one respect at least. So, but it still takes something because they're part of the establishment, and nobody in the establishment is supposed to say those words. They continue, quote, we will continue to focus on genuine drug policy reform, a strategy that rejects extremes and promotes expanded access to treatment, evidence-based prevention efforts, and alternatives to incarceration. So again, there they go doing false equivalence, saying the people who want legalization are extreme and the people who want to throw everybody in jail are extreme. Wrong, son. In reality, the people who want to throw everybody in jail, that's extreme, and that's destroying the country because we have more people in our prisons than Stalin did at the height of his gulags, okay? And to legalize is basically saying, hey, let's treat this thing like it's alcohol. And by the way, the studies have shown that marijuana isn't even as bad for you as alcohol. So to legalize a substance that's not even as bad for you as alcohol, that would appear to be common sense, not extreme. But they're painting it as extreme. They say, quote, the Office of National Drug Control Policy argues that marijuana is addictive. That's awesome. I need to do that more often. No, it's not. No, it's not. How many studies have there been now that say marijuana is not physically addictive? All of them? Yeah, maybe it's psychologically addictive, but anything can be psychologically addictive. Fucking Skittles can be psychologically addictive. They say it impairs development of brain structures, hurts academic performance in school-age children, and poses the threat of drug driving. Well, alcohol poses the threat of drug driving too. Should we ban that? School-age children, it hurts their performance. Right, which is why nobody's saying, legalize it for children. We're saying legalize it. Some people say 18 and up. Some people say 21 and up. I say 16 and up because I'm such a radical, crazy person who thinks a 16-year-old is old enough to be able to make decisions for themselves. So, again, profoundly silly. Let me bust down this myth right now. The idea that, oh my God, it impairs brain structure in children. There's two responses to that. Number one is, you know who did that study? It's one study that says that oh my God, this drops the IQ points if you start smoking when you're younger. Now, is it possible that that's true? Of course. But who funded that study? anti-drug government agencies, the people who make all of their money from drugs being illegal, said, oh, look, see, study says drugs should continue to be illegal. That should send up some red flags in your mind. And the second thing is, even if that is true, let's say that's true, okay, and forget the, conflict of interest in the study. I would imagine the same is true for alcohol. I would imagine the same is true for a whole bunch of stuff that we have that's legal. Red Bull, Monster Energy, you name it. But one, they focus on and say, oh my God, don't legalize it. This is the worst thing ever. And the other is they sit there, you want a Red Bull? Yeah, I know it might hurt you or, fuck up your life because you get addicted to it and drop dead because people get heart attacks. Somebody died of a caffeine overdose the other day, okay? So don't tell me, oh my God, there's, the substances that are legal are perfectly safe and the illegal ones, well, they're the worst things ever. It's just not true, and President Obama needs to stop playing this stupid, middle-of-the-road Washington politics game. What they don't understand in Washington is the country does not agree with you. They naively think in Washington that the middle of Washington is the middle of the country. Wrong! Look at the polls. The polls will tell you what the middle of the country is. Washington is way off to the right wing, to the far right spectrum of the right wing. So naturally, what's middle for them is this crazy, weird, gross, pseudo, far-right policy. Whereas middle of the country is they want to legalize gay marriage. They want to legalize marijuana. They want to increase taxes on the rich. They want to do universal background checks for guns. They want to ban high-capacity magazines. They want to end the wars overseas. So it stems from this fundamental disconnection from the American people, where they think they're keeping it real by saying, I'm above the fray, I'll listen to both sides. But one side is right and one side is wrong, so why would you listen to both sides? It's like saying, I'll listen to both sides when one person tells me the stork is what brings the babies, and the other side tells me, well, it's reproduction that leads to babies. Well, let's pick the middle. Sometimes it's the stork, maybe sometimes it's reproduction. We need to be centrist and above the fray here. Well, I said earlier in the segment, I'll say it again. I love that.